Thomas Ovesen, welcome to Out and About magazine. It is such a pleasure to have you here, and it's such a pleasure to be at the amazing Coca-Cola Arena for this interview.
Thank you very much for having me.
Fantastic. Now, we usually have a nice conversation, so we just want to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do in the entertainment industry. So if you could start by telling us a little bit about yourself and your entertainment journey.
Okay. It's been quite a journey. So I'm Danish, originally from outside of Copenhagen in Denmark. I came to the Middle East in the late 90s as an air traffic controller. Eventually, as I'm sure we'll discuss, found my way into entertainment. And for the past 20 plus years, I've been doing a variety of ticketed events in the market and also bespoke events, conceptualized and produced festivals and done talent bookings for various government and private events across the region and sometimes even internationally.
So 1998, moved to Bahrain, was an air traffic controller. Tell us a little bit more about how you transitioned from a career in aviation to entertainment. Very different.
Yeah. It's only in this part of the world that that's possible. So the nature of being an air traffic controller in this part of the world and one brought in from outside was that I mainly worked night shifts. So once I'd done a couple of night shifts, I would have 3-4 days off. So I ended up down in the rugby club or the British club or whatever, being the one that was always sitting around able to assist with things. So when there was an event on, I was asked if I could help with this or that, and eventually I started booking some DJs and putting some events on, and I guess I just found that really intriguing. And when one of the very few promotion companies in the region asked me to assist with a Westlife show, I think it was in Lebanon, I jumped at it and I got hooked.
Oh, fantastic. Now, you've worked with many companies in the region, in the entertainment space, and you've moved on. But I think I read that you owned your own company before, and then you went back to working for other companies, and then you're back now as an entrepreneur. Can you tell us a little bit about that transition as well?
So that's the beauty of this business. So whether you are employed, or at least in my case, whether I was employed or running my own business, it was always an industry that embraced the entrepreneurial approach. So I've been very fortunate of working with people that either had their own money invested in the business that I was taking care of, or corporates that asked me to run the entertainment part of their business. So being able to run the business pretty much as I prefer to do it. So I feel very blessed, and I've always treated other people's money as if it was my own. Which is probably a reason why I'm still able to do business in the market, because I think if you don't deliver on that front, the opportunities will slowly disappear. But now I'm 100% independent, as you said.
Okay, now tell us about T.O.P Entertainment then. That's your company that you're currently promoting on that.
So somewhat set up mainly because for the last 3 years, have been going back and forth with one of the big projects in Saudi, the Rear Gate project in Riyadh. I needed to have an ability to have license and operate out of the UAE, so set up that company 3 years ago. And within the last year or so, as live in general came back and opportunities in the region were offered to me, I realized that it was time to come back and promote shows again, and this time I chose to do it fully independently with some amazing support from global operators, either in form of agreements that delivers talent for me or assistance with underwriting and financing of the shows I do.
Okay, now in terms of your journey, you've been in the Middle East. Why the Middle East? Why did you decide to stay in the Middle East and do your independent work or with companies, and especially why Dubai?
Yeah, so I mean, the opportunity to do entertainment came as I was in Bahrain. As I said, I naturally had the time and ability to do it, and I was very fortunate that one of the local promotions company asked me to assist them. and that's how I got involved. Sort of in the late 90s, that's when Dubai was emerging as the entertainment hub, perhaps taking over from Bahrain to some extent, and eventually by far establishing itself as the entertainment destination in the region. So I moved to Dubai around the turn of the century. That sounds like it's many years ago, which it is, I guess. And Dubai was just this place where if you put some effort in, no one was going to ask if this was a natural business for you to be in. And I applied everything I had learned through my career as an air traffic controller, I guess, but also my upbringing, etc. And I was able to make it in the entertainment business. And I think that was a journey I couldn't have had many other places. I think Dubai is one of those places that allows you to do that and rewards you if you do it well.
The land of opportunities, right?
Yeah, to some extent, for sure.
Definitely. Now let's talk success for a moment. What does that look like for you?
Oh, look, and I mean this. This is sounds corny, but honestly, this is definitely one of the parameters. When you have an event on, and people that have paid their hard-earned monies to attend, they walk out with a smile on their faces, humming one of the last songs they've heard at the concert. That's certainly success for me. Of course, there's checks and balances way of looking at it. The bottom line should be positive, but it's very much about, for me, being able to bring artists that makes a difference, that haven't been here before, or do something, offer people an experience that they haven't had before. In the early days when I started doing shows, most of the concerts that took place were either in ballrooms or small gardens at hotels. There was one ticket category, perhaps two. I remember with the support of Nokia being really a main investor in the industry supporting live events, we came up with this idea of having a premium pit close to the stage, and we called it the Nokia pit. That's now a standard that you have a fan pit at most events, but before that we didn't have that in the market. So I think these kind of new developments or changing the experience for the fans is something that I like, and so success for me would be to bring top artists, but also to bring perhaps some entertainment that otherwise wouldn't have come to the market. Not just being able to offer more dollars than perhaps my competitors can offer, but overall business has to be profitable.
Now tell me about some of your favorite shows.
Yeah, I mean, so I was fortunate enough to bring Destiny's Child to the Middle East, and that led to a relationship with Matthew Knowles that is Beyonce's dad. And so for a couple of years I booked a lot of Beyonce shows in the region, and was fortunate enough to take her to Africa for the first time for her. And eventually I think one of the shows I would think back on with great memories would be Addis Ababa, where Beyonce performed, and we had Ludacris opening. That was fantastic. 32,000 people for One Direction out at the Seven Stadium was fantastic. But I think also getting involved with bringing some of the top, initially UK comedians to Dubai that hadn't been there. There's been some great comedy work done in the region. People that well before I got into comedy have been putting on comedy on a regular basis, but we hadn't seen the big sort of arena style shows till years back. I was part of bringing those shows, so that was great. But I've had Eric Clapton ironing his own trousers backstage at a Media City Amphitheatre show. Phil Collins out at the Autodrome was fantastic. Shakira's first show in the UAE, also at the Autodrome, where unfortunately we stopped traffic in the surrounding area. There's been a lot of shows. Artists like Paolo Nutini, that perhaps many people don't know about. It's been great working with. I've had some less favorable moments, perhaps. The second last show Amy Winehouse did was with us here at Festival City. So yeah, that's a mixed bag. I mean, lots of amazing shows to think back on, and I think it's not necessarily the biggest in ticket sales or the highest ranking artist that necessarily defines that. I mean, I've done quite a few Jennifer Lopez shows, and working with her is amazing, not just because commercially it works well, but she's just a very inspiring person. So yeah, there's lots of great memories.
That's amazing, absolutely amazing. Now you've got 50 Cent coming up, you've got Justin Bieber coming up, two amazing artists. What are you looking forward to most about 50 Cent and then Justin Bieber?
So 50 Cent is, I haven't done too much urban music. I conceptualized a festival that many people here will know called Redfest DXB, where we did book urban artists, but it was very much based on Virgin Radio playlists. But I would say this is probably the first sort of urban show that I'm putting on. I was fortunate enough to see his show in Copenhagen a couple of weeks back, 30,000 people, and split down between a young audience that knew his songs perhaps for anthems, but hadn't grown up with him, and then an audience that came for reminiscence. And it's just, it's an hour and a half of fun hip-hop, rap, taking you through some of the most classic hits. So that's just a great party. So definitely looking forward to that. With Justin, it's a return. He's coming back for the third time. What will be our fifth show together in the UAE. And he just grows as an artist and as an individual. So I'm looking forward to the most relaxed experience with him, because there's been some interesting moments over the years. And of course, 2 packed nights here at the Coca-Cola Arena.
Now let's talk about you a little bit more. Now, in terms of the entertainment business and what you do, what do you find as non-negotiable when it comes to doing your business? Someone has told me several times over the years that it's only the movie industry that's worse than the live concert business. And it's obviously because the industry to some extent has a bad reputation with regards to hustling, and it's just one of those businesses where sometimes people perhaps claim to represent an artist they don't, or an event is put on sale and then is cancelled for mysterious reasons, whatever. I think Dubai has come extremely far with regards to its credibility as a destination and our industry as an industry. So for me, it's there's no replacement for the truth, and if you are honest about your own abilities or the situation you're in, it'll always come back to you, even if it doesn't seem like the best thing in that particular moment. So for me, it's like, if you lie to me, then I can't deal with that. It's I won't do it to you, and I'll be honest. And once you have made a commitment, you honor that commitment, even if it's not necessarily in your own best interest right there. And when you lie, you have to try and remember what you said. Yeah. So you want to try and avoid those situations. Now, in terms of your personal growth, is there anything that you would take or advice you would give to your 20-year-old self?
Yeah, I think being Danish, and I would probably, if I think back, I would never have thought that it would be possible, even perhaps to change career. I think the way the world works today, you should expect to have several careers in your life, and I think sometimes that old saying of it's better to ask forgiveness than permission can be applied. I think I would benefit from perhaps being a bit more aggressive with regards to taking new opportunities than what I thought of when I was at that age. But this place naturally gives you those opportunities. So I think, I would say that's probably, don't get stuck in something. There's always something else you can do. And even if people advise you against doing something, if you have the heart in the right place, then you might be able to succeed.
Okay. And now tell me about some of your everyday habits. So when you get up each day, what are some of the things that you do?
So I live down in Jumeirah, and I try to get out of bed at around 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and get on the bike and ride along the beach, which is fantastic. And a humbling experience, reminds me of how lucky I am living here, considering the weather back home. So that's normally a great start to the day, and it also allows me an excuse for not being on the phone for at least 45 minutes. But that's pretty much where it starts, because in this industry I deal with agents and managers across the world. So the early morning is when you catch people in the US before they shut down, and then the day kind of runs from there on. But taught by the pandemic habits, I enjoy working a lot from home, at least when I have to do the many calls in the morning and late in the evening. And then it's so nice again being able to do face-to-face meetings, so I'll try and squeeze a few of them in during the day as well.
And in terms of your mental health, this is something that I've asked a lot more, especially since the pandemic, and especially with male. I know both male and females, do go through their challenges with mental health, but I know that as the different sexes, we deal with it very differently. So how do you look after your mental health?
Yeah, I think also, look, as I alluded to before, I've been in this business for a long time. It's because I'm quite old. So as you get older, you get rounder in your personality, I think, too. I think my younger, more aggressive self, when it comes to wanting to achieve and perform, would probably have been more exposed to the downsides of not being able to deliver on certain things or questioning yourself, whatever. So I don't feel particularly vulnerable in that sense, but I enjoy being with the family and knowing that this business is my own. So instead of making it a challenge for me or a potential risk that everything is on my shoulders, I see it as an upside that I can make the decisions, and I actually enjoy the fact that there's no one else to blame. So if anyone ever feels that I'm blaming them, I can assure you I take full responsibility. It's all on my shoulders, and that kind of makes it feel good, even when perhaps I make the wrong decisions or when things doesn't go as I had intended. That it's how I wanted it, so I'll suck it up and move on.
And what's next for T.O.P Entertainment?
Loads more of events, not just here in the UAE, but across the region. Certainly more of lifestyle type of events. I'd love to go back and launch some festival brands. I've had Breadfest DXB, Blended, Fiesta de los Muertos. Love to do more in that area. Comedy is a thing that I'd get back with. So over the next couple of months, we'll make announcements in all those fields, and we'll put more pop and rock shows on sale as well.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today. I wish you all the best with all the shows. We're looking forward to Justin Bieber and 50 Cent being here at the Coca-Cola Arena, and whatever else is to come. We look forward to being a part of those as well and celebrating with you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, please join us in this amazing arena for the upcoming shows.